So I believe there's a lot of thinking to do and questions to be asked, not just the very simplistic thing, oh, great, I'm going to live forever. It's like, well, what does that mean? And how is that going to work? Because unless people start thinking about it and beginning to embrace God about what his ways are in it, then we'll just come up with more solutions, which will be man-made and will be a repeat of the things where we've gone wrong in the past. So I don't want to create something based on a previous image. I want something new, something based on how God intended it to be. So what would it have been like if Adam had not chosen independence? Would we still be walking around the garden in the nude? Probably not, because I think that was symbolic of the innocence that was in place. That wouldn't necessarily mean that you have to stay in a place that is not maturing and ascending. Because I think Adam would have ascended into greater measure of ability and position within the kingdom and within creation. It's very difficult to imagine what something could be without the influence of what has been. So that's why deconstruction is important, that we are embracing what God intended rather than what we have developed or created. And I think there's a sense where I do not want my immortality based on the ingenuity of man. Hence, I don't believe I'm going to need nanotechnology or other things to keep me alive. Now, I know there are people out there who are looking to develop that stuff and talking about that we will, in a sense, prolong life because we will have overcome some of the things that are associated with death, whether it be sickness, disease, or other things. But I don't believe that's how God intended it to be. I think that is still man's best effort to replicate what God can do without the technology. And therefore, am I opposed to that? No, in that I'd rather people had the opportunity of eventually discovering true reality and therefore not dying in the meantime. And therefore, if there can be technology which increases man's age limits and all that, I'm not against that, but I don't believe ultimately that is the fullness of it. I think that is a transition that we go through, the same transition we're going through within healing technologies and modalities in terms of technology or right frequencies or other things. I don't think ultimately that is how we're intended to stay healthy. I think we're intended to stay healthy because we are healthy and our whole mindset and being functions from that way of thinking, because our thinking generates how we live. And if we focus from an immortality measure of thinking, I think that can keep us in immortality without the need for technology. But it's great that people are beginning to think about and talk about it. For me, it's just not the end game, you know, and it may raise the profile of immortality, and more people are beginning to discover and think about it. And, they may well discover some of the causes that causes cell to die, and they may well discover how you can reprogram the cells to replicate and renew themselves and other things. And they may discover that. But you can also do that by being one, spirit, soul, and body, and living from that place that is choosing the reality we live from aligned to the Father's heart for us, which, is part of, I believe, where we're coming into maturity.
Wow.
But, the world is living in a place where we're all on a journey or coming towards something. So for those who have got no idea of how to live in health or even to find healing, then the medical profession and the hospitals are quite useful in keeping people alive. If they can't keep themselves alive, then better that they get medical support and live longer than not. I'm not against all that because it helps the people who are in that place of needing it. As you then move on, you then become less dependent on those type of systems, in that then you can generate your own health from the energy of immortality which is within us, because we have energy gates that are generated from abundant life that can generate energy across all of our being, including the physical body, because living water is flowing within us. You could say that, you know, immortal life is flowing in us. We just have to focus that life into the right place. And for most people, that life is cooped up beyond doors within our spirit that we've not opened. So we've got trickles of it coming under the threshold of the door. Well, I want it going beyond the trickle to ankle deep, knee deep, waist deep, until it's flowing in a whole energetic system of immortality. If you enjoy these videos, would you please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe? It really does help. Thank you very much.